This episode of Speak Now, Hold Your Peace is brought to you in part by Green Sister Botanicals, plant-based hair and body care. Visit greensister.com for your hair and body care needs. People are saying, we need more gun control.
That's just human nature.
Welcome to Speak Now, Hold Your Peace, a live broadcast with real conversations about community social issues, politics, business, health, self-care, and more. We broadcast live on the Speak Now, Hold Your Peace Facebook group and the Speak Now, Hold Your Peace YouTube channel. And now, here's your host, Saywuddafeel, Dre.
What's going on? What's going on? It's welcome to Speak Now, Hold Your Peace. I'm Saywuddafeel, Dre, and today I got a heavy hitter for you today, y'all. Man, I got my man Dupré, DoItAll Kelly, one of Brick City's finest. One of Brick City's finest, man. Dude, what's going on, man? How you doing, brother? I'm good, man. Yo, I'm good, man. It's a good day, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a real good day, brother.
Hey, man. Anytime we get to wake up, man, it's an incredible day.
No doubt, man. No doubt, brother. Yo, I got a lot of questions for you, man, and for all y'all who are watching, I did this show because I need y'all to know what a true brother does for his community. I need y'all to know that you can do it too. It just takes a little work, a little commitment, a little effort, and a little involvement. You can do the same thing that this brother is doing, man. And not all of it, because his brother's doing a lot. You know what I'm saying? You got, he's doing a lot. I think there's an S on his chest. I ain't sure. But he's like Superman. So, brother, I'm going to get right into it, man. I'm going to get right into it. So dude, you running for the West Ward in Newark?
Yeah, man. I'm running for West Ward councilman.
Okay.
Last election, 3.5 years ago, I ran for councilman at large. Which is the entire city, but I had the opportunity to be on the incumbent mayor Raz J. Baraka's Team Baraka, and he asked me what I do, the ward that I grew up in, man, my ward, which is the West Ward. So I'm running for councilman of the West Ward, 2022, Dupré Kelly.
Okay, all right. Let me ask you this, man. Being you're a hip hop artist, well known. What there could be some challenges with that. Every time we see somebody. Every time we see like an actor trying to make an album, or a hip hop artist trying to get into the movies, everybody, sometimes they ain't taken seriously. I mean, it builds up and you got to earn it. What are the challenges, man, of being a hip hop artist and running for like a political position?
Well, I mean, anything worth having it takes something to get it, right? You know what I mean? So yeah, you're supposed to earn it. If there's a basketball player that wants to come into our game of hip hop, I want him to earn it. And I don't want anything easy. Like I said, I ran 3.5 years ago, almost 4 years ago, and that was not easy. I learned a lot. Just because you're a popular person in one group of area, of expertise. For me, it just happened to be hip hop music. That didn't really give me the win. Everybody says, "Oh, you're popular, you're gonna win." But those seniors and our elders in those senior buildings, they don't know who DoItAll is. They just know that they want a better community. They want a better quality of life in their community. And are you the person that can help make that happen? See, a lot of these people who are voters, they're not from the hip hop industry. And that says a lot within itself. A lot of people who are voters are not from the hip hop industry. And we want to change that, though.
Right.
We want hip hoppers to grow and to be in voters. But, politicians are always or have been looked at as the bad guy. But right. They're not the bad guy. Now, and I used to be one of those guys when I hear people say, I don't vote because this or because that. But now when I hear it, it sounds like the stupidest thing in the world. You must be a voter if you want to effectively make change when it comes to laws. Because whether you vote or not, that law will affect you if in that area, in that locale that you're from.
Right. And you know what's funny, dude, man? Like, A lot of people don't understand the importance of voting locally, because here's the thing. When this coronavirus hit, man, and each state had different laws about wearing a mask, not wearing a mask. And some of these states was like governors, siding on the side of Trump, kind of, I guess want to get on his good side, whatever. They were like, no, we don't have to wear masks. We don't have to do that. And for me, I'm like, no, I want my governor to be here in Virginia, man. They were very careful. The governor was very careful about, it was a slow process of opening everything up. And he did it real slow, and everything is cool. The numbers don't look too bad here, but that's because we had a governor who actually really cared and did what he's supposed to do. Now, had I not voted, or a whole bunch of people in this state not voted, and someone else got elected, who's to say that person would do the same thing? So it's important, it's real important to vote local first, man. You can't drive a car on if you got 4 flat tires and you only fix 3, that ain't gonna do you no good. So you voting at the top for the president of the United States, man. I mean, that's good and all, but you really do need to vote. People need to vote locally. They need to vote for their local politicians, man, because that's where it starts, and it affects you the most on a lower level. So I totally agree with that. So definitely agree with that.
Politics are super important.
Right.
Sometimes people don't think that local politics are important, and they don't go out for the things that matter, like school board elections. You might think, school board election, I don't really have to vote. And it usually in certain cities has the lowest turnout. But those are things that you need to vote, especially if you have children in that community, especially if you have youth in that community who that live in your area, live on your block. It affects you. You need to vote for those type of things, man. You need to vote for the local people in your area, because that directly affects you, because you live in that area. You're a resident of that area. So yeah, local elections are super important, and they trickle up.
Right.
The federal elections, the president and Senate and the Congress, we hope that those laws trickle down to us. But those laws are only effective as its local laws, because if we're not screaming locally through our politicians locally, they can't yell up to the Senate, to the Congress, to make those laws happen, to lobby for us to make those laws happen. So voting locally is super important.
Right. Now, in terms of the West Ward, how are you going to get everybody, or how do you get people to participate and support that don't live in that particular ward? What's your strategy for that?
Well,
or how can they help?
How we want them to help is we want to look at the culture as a whole. I look at hip hop. I'm a hip hop guy, right? I am just what hip hop looks like grown up. I will never stop being hip hop. I am just what hip hop looks like grown up. And what I mean by that is I still represent the culture. But since hip hop has become the pop culture for, we can argue, the last 25, 30 years, the last 25 or 30 years, anytime that you have the pop culture, whatever the pop culture is, it always moves society forward. We use hip hop for elections. We use hip hop to sell fried chicken on commercials. We use hip hop for everything, right?
Yep.
So if we use hip hop for everything, why don't we have a voice at the table? That means that our youth that are growing up, who are becoming our adults, and then our adults who are becoming our senior, their lives have been based off the culture of hip hop for at least the last 30 years. So if that is the case, then we need somebody to represent us, somebody that sounds like us, somebody that speaks for us. And that's no disrespect to our elder, officials, but we need somebody who represents how we think and what we talk about and what we see and how we live in our areas. And that's what we're going to do to make them support, right? I want to use Newark, New Jersey as a model citizen, as a model to all of the other cities. Just like hip hop is used to help educate people. They're in certain universities using Tupac lyrics and other hip hop lyrics to express certain ideas to their students and to their youth. I want people to look at it that way.
Right.
Even if you're not from Newark, New Jersey, I want you to utilize me, the things that we're doing, and let me know what it is that you want for the culture. And we will do the pilot and use Newark, New Jersey as the blueprint, all while we're helping our residents of Newark, New Jersey, just to influence and inspire other people to help those same people who feel the same way in other cities and other states. So use us as a model, use us as a blueprint. That's why it's important for other people to help what we're doing here in Newark, New Jersey. And that's getting me into that seat, man, elected as the West Ward Councilman of Newark, New Jersey, because it not only helps Newark, New Jersey, but it sets the tone for every other city across the country.
Right, right. Y'all hear that, y'all? The blueprint right here. It's the blueprint. So you don't even have to test it out. You looking at the testing live. You looking at the testing when you look up and you see all the things that Newark, New Jersey is doing. That's your test right there to see if it's going to work. So just know that. Just know that. Dude, right. being a member of Lords of the Underground, how's that help you with the politics? Has that helped you in any way with politics in terms of, discipline or anything like scheduling and whatever has helped you in terms of being a member of Lords of the Underground? Has it helped you with your politics at all?
Well, the way that Lords of the Underground has helped me with the politics is that Lords of the Underground have been traveling the world for the last 30 years. So any place that we travel, I get to see how society is living in those communities, in those cities, in those states, in those countries. And a lot of times they hire us to be the entertainment for that type of thing, right? So when they hire us to be the entertainment, I pay attention of what's going on. You can get us to galvanize the people, to bring the people forth. But what's the message that's being sent out? What's the word that's being sent out? A lot of times it's just for entertainment. But as we get older, it's not just for entertainment. It becomes an educational tool. It becomes a gathering tool for us to bring the people together and then get the message out. It becomes a fight for justice tool. So when I started to see that the hip hop was being used as social justice to reform different situations and bring light to different situations, it started to make me realize, wow, we can be doing that same thing in our own city. So
right.
In that way, it has been influential and inspirational in helping me with the politics. See, I don't consider myself a politician, and my team hates when I say that I don't consider myself a politician, because I feel like I'm a public servant. I'm here to serve the public. And I believe that politician connotation gets such a derogatory name attached to it, but that's what it is. You're politicking on behalf of the people, on behalf of the residents, from the youth to the adults and to our elders. So yes, hip hop has helped me from traveling and getting to see other societies and how they live.
Right. Let me ask you this. All the rappers from New Jersey, you're just thinking about all the rappers, you, Redman, like all the rappers in New Jersey, which by the way, can we get some love, because y'all forgetting, y'all getting that amnesia. All y'all sleeping on Jersey. Get that amnesia out your mind. But being that all the rappers in New Jersey, how powerful is it to get all of them involved and to make change for New Jersey? Like, how powerful you think that is?
I think that's incredibly powerful. So you got to understand, like, anytime people have millions of fans and they have the ears of millions of people, then that is the opportunity to get the correct message across or control the narrative of what you want to say to the people that can help foster change in the community. So not every rapper, just because they're popular, can be a politician, but we can have the voice that says we want this person or that person to represent us. So that is extremely important for the people of power and the people of certain stature who have the ears of millions of people, to be able to have them help us galvanize the people and bring them together.
Right. Definitely. Let me ask you this, dude. You've been rapping for a long time, brother. And to be honest with you, you've always been a politician or a servant, a community servant. But
Yeah, I've been a public servant for a long time.
What made you? Oh, hold up, man! I got to put something up here. Somebody's trying to show you some love, dude. Let me just put this up here real quick. It says Phi Beta Sigma salutes Alpha Phi Alpha. Y'all, I forgot to tell y'all, but I put it up there so y'all can see it. This brother is a man of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. All right. Okay, he do it all bricks city. Yes, so ghetto intellect, man. Thanks for the love, bro. Thanks for the love, man. Hey, let me ask you this, man. You let me just put this over here, man, because I gotta let's see. This is a question I ain't want to forget. You've been in politics for a long time. Not politics. You've been a public servant for a long time.
Correct.
Way before you got into it. What made you just move forward to run for any type of political office? What made you move forward and do that, man?
There's so many moving parts, man. There's so many moving parts that made me move forward.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for one, there's a conversation that I had with Tupac over 25 years ago, you know, that made me continue to move forward. See, Pac was a forward thinker,
right?
You know, and because he came from that Black Panther background and, you know, fighting for us, you know, type of community with the Black Panthers and pro-Black and his moms and his father and his uncles and all of them, he had a different conversation than I had at 20 years old.
And dude, I don't want to interrupt you I'm sorry to interrupt you real quick, but I gotta hear this story, man, because I heard some story about you was touring with Tupac. One of your mans was late. He run his mouth, and y'all, I don't know if y'all got into it, but he came up to you and to talk to you about the situation, and y'all wind up like talking. How'd that go, man?
You know, Pac was he's a very passionate guy, man. He was a very passionate guy about any and everything, especially when it pertained to him and his people. And we got into a little, you know, argument, I would say, because we were sharing a van. That's when we were sharing vans, and we were on Tupac's van. So it wasn't underground. Tupac shared a van going from venue to venue when we were in those cities. So long story short, we got into a little spat, I guess. But after the sound check, he came to my room, and he came with a T-shirt. He had a blunt behind his ear. He had 2 40s in his hand. OE, you know.
That's old English, y'all. Old English for the new people that you know.
They still drinking 800.
I don't think so, man. I don't think so.
He had a Newport behind one ear. He came to my room, man. I wound up opening the door, and that's when we stayed in motels. So it wasn't a hotel. That's when you go into the room from the outside.
Right.
And we went into the motel. It was 2 beds there. You know, he looked at me like, "You gonna let me in?" I let him in. He sat on the bed. He handed me a 40 ounce. I don't know if he lit up the blunt. I think he might have lit up the blunt or the Newport.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at me and he said, "You know, you was wrong, right?" I'm like, "Wrong?" And really, I was dead wrong. But he was like, "Yo, I respect that because you took up for your crew." Because I felt like, even though we was wrong, I felt like he was embarrassing us, dissing our crew. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Nah, I can't let that happen." So I started talking in third person. But anyway, he said, "You know, you were wrong." I'm like, "Wrong?" He's like, "But that's why I rock with you." He's like, "I like that because you stood up for your crew." And then he just proceeded to talk about, you know, "Dude, man, we got to become more popular rappers. We got to get millions and millions of fans to get behind us because those fans can turn into voters." I was like, "Voters?" He's like, "Yeah, man, the more popular we get, the more power we have." He's like, "We have to create youth initiatives and feed the community." And it's an interview out there somewhere about him when he said, "Man, you got $32 million and you can't share that with people who are poor." And so he was really into sharing wealth, you know, and teaching people wealth. And he started talking about all of that. Now, mind you, we're 20 years old, 20 or 21. I believe I'm 6 months older than Pop. So I couldn't fathom of what he was talking about. And then he said, you know, after we do all of that and go to our prospective communities, he said, you know, he started naming all of the popular rappers at the time. He said, Common need to go do it in Chicago. Ice Cube need to do it in South Central. you need to do it. You and Redman need to do it in Newark, which we
Wow.
are doing now.
Wow.
And he said, Tretch need to do it in Illtown. He said, I'll do it in Oakland. And he was naming all of the hot rappers at the time. So he said, man, once we do all that and then we unite, then we can unite the cities, we can unite the culture, and then we gain power by doing something we might not want to do. And I'm like, what's that? He said, we might have to become elected officials. I said, elected officials? Man, ain't nobody being no politician. We rappers. Exact words to him, you know. And as I started to grow, as I started to have different experiences, as I started to see different things and see where the power lied and how can you get certain things done, I said, wow, here's this man 20 years old telling me this over 20, 25 years ago. And he was right. You know, he was right.
Way ahead of his time. Wow.
Way ahead of his time. So that's one of the things. But then I had people in my life, like, I still have mentors to this day. I had a brother who was Lords of the Underground manager. He was my solo manager before Lords of the Underground. And shout out to Mr. Funky and DJ Lord Jazz.
No doubt. Big shout out.
We had a brother by the name of Hafiz Fareed, who was the chief of staff for a councilman by the name of Ralph T. Grant Sr. In Newark, New Jersey at the time.
He was a Shaw. Didn't he go to Shaw?
Ralph T. Grant Sr. went to Shaw.
Okay. All right. Yep. Okay. Right. Wow.
So he would be in our lives and he would, you know, make us use our popularity and use our fame by going into the community and going door to door and doing drug programs and bringing the people, since we were popular, and talk to the people. And, you know, and it started to, you know, having that hand to hand relationship with the residents. It started to let me know that it's cool from being, you know, from afar, from representing where you're from afar. That is cool. But when you're hands-on, you know that Miss William got a rodent problem on her number block. You know that Miss Atlas, you know, she's scared to walk to the corner store because of all of the loitering and the gathering and the drug selling on the blocks. You start to know the little intimate details, you know. So Hafiz Fareed is one of them. You know, I just got male mentors and female mentors, my mother, and just so many different people, man. And the people, the residents themselves, the people of Newark, New Jersey, the people of the West Ward. My thing is, when they see you in action, when they see you do certain things, they say, you know what? I want you to be the voice for us because I'm not a great voice, or I'm nervous about being a voice. But they can tell you about it. Mm-hmm. Once they see you doing the work, then they want you to continue to do the work for them.
Right.
So,
right.
That, you know, that in a nutshell, that's what motivated me to be the voice for my people in our community.
Yeah, and one thing I follow you, man, on Instagram and stuff like that, and I've been following you for a while, man. And one thing I've gotten from following you and trying to get to know you more as a servant of the community is that you participate in a lot of stuff, man. Like usually that the people that's like the executives and all of that, they don't usually come to, like, you know, they have these events and, you know, they're involved, but they're not involved. But you be up in there, man. Like you are there. You like it's firsthand. You know what I mean? It's like firsthand. You're right there, and I think that's important, man. So shout out to you, bro, for just being there, man. For real.
I didn't want to do, you know, when I came back and said, "Yo, I want to be hands on in my community." Amiri Baraka Sr., who's the father of our current mayor, and he's a great laureate and poet. He's just he's an author. He's a revolutionist. He said to me, you know, dude, pitch your bucket where you lay. Mm-hmm. And I said, pit my bucket where I lay? What do you mean? And at this time I was living in California for a year trying to do the TV production and, you know, all of that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. And he said, it's cool to be away, but our superheroes need to be amongst us. I was like, superheroes need to be amongst us. It was like, yeah, pitch your bucket where you lay, because when you go away, it's cool to go away and gather the knowledge. That's great. But bring those superpowers back to us. Because just say if you were a brain surgeon, this was his example. He said, if you took your superpowers and you went out to California and they needed you to be the expertise with brain surgery at Cedar Sinai Hospital, you have just changed the economic development there, because whoever needs your expertise has to fly into LA if they're not already in that area. So that means that they eat at the restaurants. That means they're housed at the hotels or the Airbnbs or what have you. That means that they're having rental cars, and they're supplying profit for those doctors and those hospitals, which pays taxes to the community, which are used to uplift and build up that community. So you're changing the economic development of that city. But if you came back and brought those superpowers back to us, then you would do the same thing right here in Newark, New Jersey. So he was like, brother, if you can, pitch your bucket where you lay. And I was like, wow.
That's deep.
Man, I swear, probably 6 months later, I was right back in Newark, New Jersey, man. But I didn't want to just come back to Newark, New Jersey and say, this needs to be done or that needs to be done. I said, you know what? Let me just be quiet and let me show people with my actions. Let my actions be the talking. The things that I don't appreciate or the things that I don't like, let me show through my actions. And then people will see me doing it. So when I say, why aren't you doing it? They can't say, well, why aren't you doing it? Because I am doing it. People can talk a lot and say what they want to see done, but they're not doing it. So that's why I stay on the front line doing it, man.
Right.
And I've been able to build a great team, and you can't do anything by yourself, but I've been able to build a great team and some great soldiers to assist me in my ideas and things that I want to help. And really, they're not my ideas either. They're just me taking what the residents feel and see and amplifying it and thinking of ways how we can help and get the result. See, we can identify the problem one time. I don't like to identify a problem over and over and over again. I like to identify it and then figure out the solutions. Mm-hmm. And I'm not always the best at the solutions, but I'm great at putting the people, the like minds in the room, so we can figure out that solution together.
Right.
And that's what we do. Right.
And it's funny that you say, you just do it. You don't talk about what needs to be done. You just do it. And it's crazy about just doing stuff. I got a quick story. I don't know if you remember, man, the Nestle cocoa. It came in a little container. You take the spoon. I used to love that stuff, man. Like, we barely got it because we couldn't afford stuff like that. We had the basics, but
I didn't really rock with it.
Yeah, I love that stuff, man. But make the milk chocolatey and all of that. Had it once, then couldn't have it again. So I wanted some more. I wanted some, right? So I'm sitting in the kitchen in the morning, dumping Cocoa Puffs, mixing it, eating some of it, but not all of it. Take that out. Right. Dump more Cocoa Puffs. Now the milk is turning like chocolate milk. Mom Duke's coming there. She see me pouring it and wasting. Why are you doing that? I wanted some chocolate milk because I couldn't get the cocoa, I couldn't be living large like some people, So she's right. Like, so you took all that cereal just to get chocolate milk? Yeah. Why didn't you ask me to get you the cocoa stuff? I ain't think I could. Serves you right for not asking. So with that said, do you think that? Do you think there's people in Newark that just have plans to do things or want to do things, but they just feel like they can't, or they just feel like they're going to be told no?
Yeah, most definitely. Not just in Newark, New Jersey, but everywhere. That's just life. People get discouraged every day. But see, that is life. That is the challenge of life. See, strength comes from not the things that you can do. Strength comes from overcoming the things that you cannot do. You understand? So it's like, of course, people don't want to tell you what they need done because they don't believe that it can be done, because they're so far removed from it. But if you ask, you shall receive. If you ask with your mind, if you ask with your heart, if you're authentic about it and you put it out into the universe, then this vehicle that we call our bodies will follow. Our hands will move, our legs will walk, our eyes will see, even our pineal gland, that eye, that third eye, we will see, and we will start to create it. because we're magicians. We're made of we do magic. That's
Right.
why spelling words are called spelling words. They cast spells, but they do it in both ways. You just have to cast the right spells. That's why they say repeat it over and over to yourself sometimes. Write it down, look at it so you can see it, so you can touch it, so you can do it. Those are spells in the real world sense, not in the mystical, magical. This the real thing, Do it over and over. Believe in yourself. Believe that you can, because when you believe that you can, you do. That means that you really can do it. So,
Right.
yeah, I think that people are discouraged by other people's fears too.
Right.
Somebody who believe that they can't do it, so they're going to tell you, "Oh, Dre, no, you can't do that. You can't do that."
Right.
That's
Right.
because they can't do that, or they believe that they can't do that. So
Wow.
yeah, you got to stay away from those naysayers, man, and surround yourself around the people who energize you. Surround yourself around the people who give you that burst of energy. Surround yourself around people who you see yourself being like. If you around somebody who you never see yourself being like, or doesn't add on to who you are, then that's your fault. Why would you hang around somebody that doesn't add to the things that you want to happen?
Right.
You know?
Right. That's deep. Right. Yo, let me ask you this, man. So if I'm correct, and correct me if I'm wrong, members of like the Newark City Council who present legislation, you need 4 votes, correct? Is that correct?
No, you need 5.
5. Okay. So
5.
with that,
city council members, you
uh-huh.
need 5 votes to get legislation passed in this city.
Okay. Now with that said, I'm sure it's probably hard to get something passed when you come with new ideas. I don't know if you remember. Of course you remember. I had an Atari 2600, right?
Yeah.
Atari 2600. Since then, we've had ColecoVision, we had PlayStation, we had Sega Genesis, all of that. From Atari to PlayStation 5, the developments is off the chain. Now, had these developers of Atari and all of these developers just stuck with the same old way that they do that Atari, we wouldn't have a PlayStation 5. It could be named PlayStation 5, but it won't do all the new features and all of that because those developers were probably stuck doing the same thing with the Atari in terms of how it plays and how you turn it on and stuff like that, the games. Now, with that said, in terms of passing legislation, there's some incumbent, city council members who are, they old school, sometimes they don't want to hear the new ideas. Like this is how we do it. This is how we've always done it. And I don't care, you young kid, you young councilmen and councilwomen, you're not going to come in here and tell us what we need to change and all of that. But what they fail to realize is that times are changing and people are changing. Yeah. So you can't be stuck in there. Have you ever experienced that? And do you plan on experiencing that when you run after you win, thinking that you're going to win?
We will always experience that in this sense, right? I just believe you should never be the smartest person at the table. If you adopt that ideology, I think you'll be okay. And what I mean by never being the smartest person at the table is because if you are the smartest person at the table, then you're at the wrong table. That means that ideas cannot flourish. That means that when you tell me something, I got this idea, man, if we did this on this block, or if we go downtown and do this, or if we can do this and build some brick and mortar and make this happen. And I go, no, I got it. And then the other person at the table said, all right, well, cool, dude. Let's try it this way. If we can do this and funnel this way and get some jobs. And I'm like, no, I got it. And then the lady over here said, yo, dude, I think. And I say, no, I got it. If I know everything, then I'm at the wrong table. If nobody can tell me nothing, I'm at the wrong table. You have some career politicians who put yay-sayers at the table. Just want to say yes to their ideas because it protects them financially. It allows them to have job security. We don't need that. We need fresh ideas, fresh mindsets who are open, and they're not the smartest person at the table. When you're not the smartest person at the table, you can accept ideas and then you push them out. You can find the solutions collectively and push them out. That's what this is about, man. When you have a great council, when you have great people on your staffs as council members, then you do things collectively. You figure things out together instead of one person making up the idea and saying this is what we're doing. No, it should be an influx of information because information changes situations, right? So
Absolutely.
when you have that information from different sources, now you can make a collective decision. You can make a compensated decision about what you need to do and what's best for the people. And the people won't tell you what they want anyway. All it is your idea to try to figure out to give them what they need in the correct manner.
Right. Okay. Makes sense. One thing I've seen over the years is, over a long period of years, is that as we grow, as the years go on, hip hop is being more accepted into people's life, people's agenda. And when I say that, I mean, there's a lot of politicians who get, artists to, get their message to the urban communities and stuff like that.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Do you agree that how do you feel about that? The advancement in terms of hip hop? Because it kind of, like, I know you mentioned something about getting a seat at the table. That's a way to sneak in through that back door and get that done. Do you agree?
Well, I don't think it's sneaking at all. I think that it's just the way.
Mm-hmm.
It's called evolution. It is the evolution of hip hop. When I said that hip hop is now the pop culture, whatever the pop culture of anything, just go back decades. If it's rock music, if it's blues, if it's jazz, if it's R&B, whatever the pop culture is, always moves society forward. Always. Because they have to utilize it to offset the everyday working people, the stresses of everyday life. They have to use it. Right? So they have to use it to entertain. So if you can use it to entertain, you can use it to educate. Then that means you can use it to edutain. That means that you can use it to job create. That means that you can use it to elect people who are of like minds, who A like you, B like you, and C like you. You know
Right.
what I mean? So that means that if that is the case, then why wouldn't you have people who directly represent the culture and for the people who are living the culture? Politicians are becoming more receptive and accepting to hip hop because they have grown up to hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
Hip hop is about to be 50 years old. 50. So that means that if you deal with a 50-year-old man, or 50-year-old woman, he is halfway through his life, as people say.
Right.
So hip hop is halfway through his life. So it's taken us 50 years to be accepted, our ideas and our ideologies to be accepted in the way of life. When you have been living this way of life for 50 years, come on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's definitely going to be accepted.
Yeah, definitely, man. Wow. I didn't even look at it like that. 50 years. Wow. Now, dude, you attended Shaw University, so big shout out to Shaw U.
Shaw U.
Yes. Hey, and you know it, man. So let me ask you this, man. Being that you went to Shaw University, I think there's a lot of kids that think, okay, so I want to be a rapper. I want to be an R&B artist. I want to be an artist. So I'm going to pursue that, and I'm not going to college. And then you have some who say, I want to be an artist, and I want to do music, but I can't do both. Which I don't know why they would think that, but they think that. What would you say to them if they said, "Hey, look, I want to do one or the other"? What would you say to the ones who think they either got to do music or they got to go to school? Because you can do both, and that's been proven over the years. I remember I found that. Exactly. So what would you say? What would you say to them?
Well, what I would say to them, man, is I'm big on transferable skill sets. I would say, when we talk like this and you actually hear my voice and I actually hear your voice, we are projecting what our soul is feeling and what our body is feeling. But when I close my mouth and I say something inside, only I can hear that. That
Right.
is God to me. That is my conversation with God. If I am of made of his image or in his image, then that is God, because you can't hear what I'm talking about. But I heard it. I heard it. I didn't hear it with these two ears. I heard it with the essence of who I am. Right?
Right.
Our vehicles or our bodies are just our vehicles to project what that is inside of us. So what I would tell them is listen to that inside of you. There's this thing called transferable skill sets. You have been given already everything that you need in life to become great. We all are geniuses. You
Right.
just have to find what it is that makes you a genius, that
Right.
makes you great. You just
Right.
have to tap into what that thing is. So I would never tell no one to not go get a higher education. But we have to understand what the wording is. What does that wordage mean?
Right.
Get a
Right.
higher education. To
Right.
you, Dre, that might mean go to 4 years and then another 4 years to get your master's and your doctorate.
Mm-hmm.
To somebody else, that might mean to read 20 books a week.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
see what I'm saying?
Makes sense.
And then
Yep.
apply that to who you are.
Right.
So higher education, we have to think about what does that really mean? In our mind, we have been programmed to think that means only go to a university, go to a college. No, higher education does not just mean go to a college or go to school. Now, mind you, I'm not telling you guys out there not to go to school. I'm just telling you whatever it is that you want to do and you want to see the results of your actions, get in higher education in that thing.
Right.
Get more information in that thing. Now for me, that was Shaw University. And then for my brother, that was reading books, 20 books a month or 30 books a month. For somebody else, that can be something else.
Right.
But you still need to be educated and you still need more information to be great at that thing that you want to be great at.
Right. Right. Definitely. And I dropped out of school in 9th grade, man. I dropped out of school in 9th grade. I wound up going to Shaw. I got my bachelor's. Wound up getting my master's. And then I wound up going for my doctorate, and I still got like 4 or 5 classes left. But my point in saying that, and my point in saying that is that I would have never, honestly, man, I would have never had my sister not pressured me. Shout out to my sister Lorraine. If she didn't if she didn't pressure me to go do, I'd probably still be home, man. And you know what's crazy, dude? I was listening to her, and if she would have told me, like, at one point something happened, right? If that something didn't happen, she still would have been telling me, and I probably would have went because I would have got tired of her getting on me. But I went a lot sooner because of something that happened. Like, she was telling me to go. I remember going to Skate 22, getting run out of there. We went to McDonald's, got run out of there, went down to Dayton Projects, got into trouble down there, being somewhere I shouldn't be, trying to talk to some girl. And I realized that night, I was like, you know what? I got to get out of here, man. I need to go to school. And that just sealed it for me. With my sister and that, it just sealed it for me. So,
but you see what you just said, Dre? You see what you said? Your sister applied the pressure, just like certain situations apply the pressure. It could be the streets apply the pressure. It could be the parents. It could be you want to change the way that you live. But ultimately, you had to decide. You had to make the choice.
Right.
You are who you are and where you are right now, not because of your sister, but because you said, yes, I'm going to go.
Indeed.
She could have told you all day, but if you would say, no, I'm not going, and she still said that same conversation to you, and you said no, then you would not be where you are here today. Right. So yes, she gets credit for the application, for the applying
Mm-hmm.
the pressure to you, but you are who you are and where you are because you said yay or nay.
You're right. You're right. And it's crazy
We got
because
to make the choices.
yeah, and it's crazy because I met my wife the second day I got down there, man. So we've been married since '98. We graduated in '98. Been married since then, still together. So I owe Shaw a lot, man. So big shout out to Shaw University, man. A whole lot, man. So how important, my sister was very important to me. How important do you think it is for people like my sister, people like Ralph T. Grant Sr.? How important do you think it is to have those type of people in the community or in your ear?
Super important.
Mm-hmm.
Those people are mentors, whether you want to believe it or not. Those people are mentors. Mentors are people who push you. Mentors are people who give you a different perspective. Mentors are people who make you go after that drive. They put that drive in you. Mentors are the ones who make you believe in your own magic. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's very important because mentors come with influence and they come with they come with inspiration, right?
Right.
But there's two different things. Influence is super powerful, super powerful. But when you're under the influence of anything, you're not really yourself. You're as if or you're acting as if or of the thing that you're under the influence.
Right.
And being under anything doesn't mean that you're overstanding it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So
right.
that means that when you're under the influence of anything that's influencing you, you don't, the thing has the power over you more than you have the power over it. But when you're inspired by a person, when you're inspired by Lorraine, right? That's your sister?
Right. Right.
When you're inspired by a Lorraine, or when you're inspired by a Ralph T. Grant or a Hafiz Fareed or a Brenda Kelly, when you're inspired by something, that comes from within.
Right.
That comes from in spirit. You're in spirit with someone. You're on the same vibration. You're on the same wavelength. You don't necessarily want to be like them. Those are the people who push you, or the thing that pushes you to be better than it or better than them.
Right.
Because you're in spirit. That's the inspiration of it. You know what I mean? So influence is super powerful, but I would rather be inspired by somebody. And that's why we need your sisters and, councilmen and people in the community, because they have experiences or experienced life enough to tell you, go, do it, make the right choice. But it's still on you to decide, to make a decision. It's on you to make the choice.
Right. Definitely, brother. I got one more question before we wrap up, man. I wrote this down because I ain't want to get it wrong, and I'm gonna read it to you. So I once heard you say something, a quote. This is you. When you elect me, you get all of my resources, all my relationships, but not just mine. You get hip hop resources and relationships. That was the most. Yo, you talking about something powerful, man. That was deep, man. That says a lot. It means a lot. And if somebody said that to me, I'm voting for them, because I honestly believe that you do give that. You give that. How powerful do you think that was, man? Did you know that statement was powerful when you made it? Was you trying to make a powerful statement when you said that, or if you can remember, or it's just something that you said and you meant it?
I think, man, I try and I do. I'm authentic in everything that I do, or at least I try to be. So it's not like I'm not trying to be any different than who I am. And a lot of times my authenticity scares people demons, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I learned about that is that when you read something back like that to me, when you're in the moment, you're being real. So you don't know how powerful it sounds because you're not trying to sound powerful. You're speaking truth to make it count. You're speaking truth to be put out there. And I was just speaking truth that day. When you were elected Dupré Kelly in the city of Newark, in a place that he grew up, in a place that spawned him into the entertainment business, in a place that he gives credit to, in a place that birthed people like Redman and Rod Digger and the Outsiders and people like that. When you get Sean Diddy Combs, who supports what we do, you get a Snoop Dogg who supports what we do. You get a Killer Mike who supports what we do. You get these powerful people who are attached. You get a Redman, like I said. You get all of these people who are attached. You get councilmen and commissioners and congressmen and senators who are not from New Jersey or Newark, but from other places. You get a Dame Dash, you get a Kanye West, you get the commission who consists of doctors and lawyers. You get all of this who believe that we can use a place like Newark, New Jersey as a model city, even though they're not from here. Because when we utilize New Jersey and do the great things that we want to do and will do in Newark, New Jersey, then people will follow. Look, people cannot become things that they cannot see.
Right.
So when you see a place like Newark, New Jersey becoming this great thing, why wouldn't you want to make your place that great thing? Why wouldn't you want to make your space that great thing?
Right.
Purpose lives in spaces. So you want to make the space that you live in have an incredible purpose. And we're saying, use our space right now. Let's show you that we can do it because we have the opportunity this moment right now, May 2022, to elect somebody who directly comes from the hip hop community, who directly comes from this pop culture, the current pop culture, which is hip hop. Probably one of the closest people to office at this moment. We don't know when we will get that opportunity again. So utilize it now.
Right. Definitely. And I know you get a lot of support from Redman. I know you've known him since you was 11 years old. And I know he gives a lot of support. I know that's your brother, man. So big shout out to Redman for coming through and always supporting, man. Before we get out of here, man, can you just give us a little? I want to give 211 Community Impact some love, man. Let me know. Tell us about that, man.
211 Community Impact, man, is a nonprofit organization that I started with two other people about 11 years ago now. And we initially started off talking about just doing educational and literacy things and not just the school literacy. We wanted to make people literate about laws. We wanted to make people literate about legislation. We wanted to make people literate about things that run their community or move their community. We wanted to make them understand about that they can go to council meetings and express their concerns. And we wanted to let them know that they had the right with the school board to do certain things. So by showing and caring that much, it spawned into community impact. It spawned into doing things that the community needed to make an impact with the residents and the people who are of the city in our communities. So it just spawned into this company, this nonprofit company, who are here to fill in the gaps with administration. You have to team up with people. So whatever the current administration is, and this administration, who has been our administration for a long time, but not just the administration, excuse me, with other nonprofits, with other boots on the ground. One thing that we did when we first started this is we went around to all of the other nonprofits to find out what they're doing, what their specialty is, so that we won't try to do the same thing.
Right.
Because if you have 2 and 3 people doing the same thing, then it almost defeats the purpose. We want to collectively do things together. So if you're working on this, then I'm going to work on that. Let's get together. Now we're both working on the same thing, even though you have that part and I have this part. So 211 Community Impact, we're a nonprofit who is worldwide, but we focus on Newark, New Jersey, and filling the gaps and helping our residents and our people of the city impact the community in a special way.
That's big, man. That's big. And what's the website? Because I want people to know if you want to donate or you want to know what it's about. Can you give them the website?
Yeah, man. They can go check out 211. That's the numbers 211 communityimpact.com. That's 211 communityimpact.com. And excuse me, they have a Cash App on there. They have PayPal on there. There's definitely ways to donate. I believe there's a text to donate number, and that's 211 communityimpact.com. If you're on Cash App, you can $sign 211 Community Impact. PayPal is /211CI, I believe it is. But all of the information is on 211communityimpact.com. And I appreciate and thank everybody that has been supporting us.
Yeah, and if you didn't get it, you can go to my website because I put the link on there about 2 weeks ago. So that I put it on my. So go to speaknowholdyourpeace.com, click under resources. You'll see some resources under there for everything, not everything, but a lot of things that I've done this show, like had shows and discussing certain topics. All those resources are there, so you could check that out. Dude, man, I appreciate you coming on, man. I salute you, brother. And there's one more thing I gotta do before you go, man. I don't do this often, but I do it for some of the people that come on here. Bro, you gotta take a 3-question quiz, man, to get off here, man. Let's do it. You ready? You ready? All right, brother. So I hope so. So, dude, all these questions is going to be related to probably Shaw University. All right. So you ready? I'm going to ask you, it's going to be 3 questions and you get 1 lifeline, dude. That means I'll give you a hint. All right.
Okay.
All right. So here we go. On Sundays, we look forward to eating in the caf because they had a special meal. What was it, dude?
Chicken in the cafeteria.
My man, all right, brother. Yo, that was banging, wasn't it? No doubt. That red juice, yo. All right, dude. So you 1 for 1. All right, now, dude, this is the second one. You got to name this person, okay? And remember, you get a lifeline. You got to name this person. 801. Go ahead and clean your room for that room inspection. 562. Going over there, 503. Get over here. All right. Who is that, dude?
903? 903?
No doubt, man. No doubt, man. Oh, man. All right, dude. So you 2 for 2, baby. You answer this question, and you still got a lifeline, so you might win it. You answer this question, you good. But I'm not going to ask you the question. I got a special guest that's going to ask you the question. You ready for the special guest? All right, come on out, special guest. Let's do this, man. All right. So you got Mr. Good here. You see him? You see Mr. Good? You see him on there, dude? Yes, it is, brother. Yes, it is. You got Mr. Good. I had to do it, man. I was like, I had to do it. Why?
Really?
I promise.
What was going on?
Crazy, it wasn't nothing bad. But I had a dream about you, man. We was at Shaw. We was dealing with some youth about something, and you were in the dream, man.
Wow. Dude.
Wow.
That's scary right there.
It's just like that, man. Ain't that crazy how that worked out, though, man?
Definitely on my mind, and now he on the.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He did a lot, man. He did a lot, brother. So look.
So funny.
Yeah, something to be proud of, man. He definitely doing us good, man. The city is. Mm-hmm.
I love Mr. Good because he gave it to you. Like, he was always raw. Like, he didn't have no chaser. You know what I mean? He made sure you knew what you wanted to do. He would ask those hard questions for a teenager or a young adult. He didn't care. And he wanted to know the answer. And he didn't really judge you. he went off for who you was.
Yep. Absolutely. That's right. Yep. So, Mr. Good, go ahead and ask him that third question. You get one lifeline, dude, if you can't answer. But if you can, you're good to go. All right.
And you know I know you well.
Right.
So my question is, what was that one thing that almost prevent you from signing your contract when you first started out?
Yo! That one thing that almost prevented me from signing my contract with Laws of the Underground, Marley Marl, was the Alpha Phi Alphas. But it was my man P. P. Doug. Yo, they did not believe I was going to sign a contract. Yo, they let me have it too. They was like, "You ain't going to sign no contract."
I was like, no.
So, dude, what's your
Walter was like, "Nope."
so, dude, what's your official answer?
Hey man, Alpha Phi Alpha, man.
You got it. You got it.
But one thing I gotta say, shout out to my line, man, because they stuck up for me. They said they'll hold it down till I get back, man.
All right. So you did it, bro. You did it. All right. You did it, brother. All right, dude. Good job, dude. Good job, dude. You got it, dude. You got it, man. Oh, man. So, look, y'all, I want y'all to stay on, man. We're going to log out of here and get offline, man, but I want y'all to stay on, man, so we can wrap it up a little bit and talk. Everybody else, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all check out 211 Community Impact. And I thank you for being here. We out.
Thank y'all.
Thank you for watching the Speak Now Hold Your Peace live broadcast. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and join us on the Speak Now Hold Your Peace Facebook group.